Anu Nation is home to the Anu spiritual order founded by Chief Jegna Haru Yuya Asan Anu. Some of the components of Anu Nation are Anu Life Global Ministries, Enlightenment and Transformation, Sadulu House, and Osiris Life Spiritual Services. SaduluHouse.com is the school component of Anu Nation, where spiritual empowerment through education and training is emphasized. One way that is accomplished is through our monthly webinars. Our webinars are packed with foundational information, rituals, and live instruction to empower your spiritual work. At SaduluHouse.com, you can view our diverse list of topics for this year that range from meditation to sex magic. And you can also register for any of the webinars at your convenience, sign up for our introductory Orisha class, schedule a spiritual reading, and sign up for the Anu Spiritual Training course. Enlightenment and Transformation is the media component of Anu Nation. Here, you can view all of our archive shows from over the years to our current segments. They include Chief Speaks, Masterminds Monday, Anu Asafo, Thunderground Thursdays, and Foundational Fridays. You can also visit us on our YouTube channels. They are Enlightenment and Transformation, Orisha Yoruba, and Anu Nation. Osiris Life Spiritual Services is for those who are ready to take the necessary actions to bring your life into holistic balance. Here we offer consistent monthly one-on-one coaching, solutions that are tailored just for you, practical hands-on self-development techniques that will accompany your monthly readings, and customized practical strategies designed for you that guarantee positive results. Simply choose the package that best fits your needs. And last but not least, AlphaOmegaStore.com. The Alpha Omega Store is our online botanica where we offer divination tools, herbs and incense, DVDs, books, and other hard-to-find ritual items. You can also get our best-selling foundational book, Grasping the Root of Divine Power. Other great works from Anu Nation are Shrine and Altar, Solutions for Dysfunctional Family Relationships, and Natural Hair for Young Women. All great books to assist you on your journey. To find out more on how to get involved with Anu Nation, visit our websites and YouTube channels and be sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter.
All right. Welcome. Good dawning to another segment of Community Dawning Devotion. Almost said Chief Speaks. To Community Dawning Devotion. As many of you know, you've been riding with me all strong. I'm filling in I filled in for the bulk of this strong. So, I want to just welcome you all. I know many of you are, I guess, on your way to your place of employment. Some of you are just getting up. Some of you are just laying in the bed, staring at the ceiling. And, others of you are just getting in for the night, from your nighttime work. But however it's going down for you, I just want to welcome you into this space, that we call a community, that we call enlightenment and transformation. And of course, I want to thank you all for being present in this time because, of course, there's always something else to do. There's always something else to be invested in and to be doing. This strong has been very interesting in terms of the technical issues with Blog Talk. And, any issue is always a indicator of something else that needs to be addressed, something else that's going on. Always, every time. Can't get away from it, So there's always that back end piece where we have to do that examination. But I think there was a good amount of information shared this strong, between dealing with the numerology of the master builder number. We dealt with what's the face yesterday, that turkey science, not just the turkey, but the science of flexibility and moving beyond your comfort zone, the purpose of it. And we know that going into the strong end, right? Going into the strong end, that we're going to practice some of these things that we're talking about. that we talked about this strong. We're going to practice moving beyond what we're comfortable with. We're going to practice confronting and touching the things that we're fearful of. And most of all, giving to individuals in a way that is selfless. That is something that I know that everyone is eager to practice on this strong end, because there will be a greater preponderance of people available to you all to practice these techniques with, because usually on the strong ends, most people are not working their 9-to-5s or doing whatever it is that they do. If you're locked into that schedule, if you're not locked into that schedule, all the better. All the better. A strong end doesn't really, every day is pretty much the same for me. So it doesn't mean as much, but I do recognize that for some people, it's a great day to be able to relax or whatever it is that you do, but one of the ways that we can just start, like when we're coming into consciousness, it's just to break the construct of time, the schedules that are imposed upon us. Monday, we all hate Mondays. Monday, oh my goodness, it's not Monday you hate, it's what you're being forced to do. In some senses, is what you've not liberated yourself from. That's what you hate. You hate the idea of capitalism and working just to pay for utilities, and having to leave your home, not being able to survive from your homestead, not being self-sustaining. These are the things that you hate. It's not actually Monday. Monday's a great day. Monday's one of the coolest days, in terms of our spiritual knowing. And Friday, everyone's excited for Friday because they get a little break and a little relief from the capitalism, you see. But it's not really even about that either, So sometimes coming into consciousness, aside from changing your name and changing your eating patterns and, some of the things that we do that are kind of standard across the board, one of the ways that you can really help yourself is just by changing your schedule. If you have a job that starts at 9 or 8:30, and you get up, let's say 6:30 or 7 to get ready and get out the door, get up at 4 a.m. Give an hour or two to yourself before you give 8 hours or 9 hours to someone else. It will change the way you perceive things. It will change the way you function and the way you think. When you're coming home from work, instead of coming right home from work, go somewhere else. Go to the library and study for a little bit. Even if you're on your laptop or you're on your tablet or you're on your phone. But, make sure that, like we say, even in our finances, to pay yourself first. Serve yourself first. Feed yourself first before you feed someone else's dreams and someone else's goals. As you're in a place giving away some of your best years, make sure that you give your best times, your most productive times, your most alert times. Give them to yourself. Now, what's that going to require? For you to move past your comfort zone. Maybe on that Thursday or that Friday night when your friends say, hey, let's go get something to eat. Let's go do this. You say, nah, I'm going to stay in. I'm not going to go out tonight, because not only am I trying to put some money aside so I can finally create my exodus plan to leave this place, but I want to be able to wake up tomorrow at 4 a.m. to do the things that I want to do for me. You see, give to yourself first. I'm telling you, it'd be much more valuable for you. You make sure you get up to do your sun salutations and all those things. So the things that we've learned in this strong, I know we would definitely apply. The science of partnership, the science of harmony, the science of duality. And of course, harmony is one of the principles that I go into depth on in the 14 Keys book that that we have out in our new nation. And the 14 Keys that's part of a backbone. And if you guys hear me slurring my words a little bit, it's because I'm checking back and forth. I have a phone dialed in at the same time, so as I'm speaking, I'm checking two different phones to see if I start breaking up. All right, so if I'm like pausing, it's because I'm pulling the phone in my ear, and I'm checking like every 10 seconds. A little distracting, but it's what it's going to be for a minute. Oh, and let me say this too. I want to thank those who gave suggestions for different things. Sister Sequoia, in particular, had brought up 2 sites in terms of podcasting, Spreaker, and there was another one. And I have checked out Spreaker before, and I'll go back and check it out again. So thank you for bringing those into the consciousness. In our attempt to make this exodus from Blog Talk Radio. The other thing that's about Blog Talk is those goofy ads in the beginning of the shows, and they put those into your actual audio, so you can't really disable them. But that the ads that have nothing to do with what we're talking about. Come to Staples if you want to get staples and staplers. Come to Staples. Stuff like that. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So, it's just a goofy experience all around. At least with YouTube, when they put the ads on, not only do you get a couple of cents for it, literally a couple of cents, but they use algorithms to match the ads with your video description as well as your video title. So most of the ads on my videos about self-help, because that's how they match it up. Even if it's about yogas, I don't care. But you never want to lock yourself down to any one way of doing things and thinking that that's the end all be all. I mean, that's kind of what we were talking about in terms of moving beyond our comfort zones. And sometimes, like I said, it requires that getting low to the earth, like that turkey vibration. Sometimes you got to do that. Try that. Get low to the earth and feel that boom, the sonic boom of other individuals across the planet who have the courage and the power to speak out their true and resounding note. Oftentimes it's a very scary thing for us to let people truly hear us. So many of us are afraid of public speaking. We're afraid of the boomerang of judgment that will come back. But in all moments, we're judging our experiences. We can't be so terrified of judgment all the time. Judgment is a good thing. Condemnation will even come at times. But, this brings strength of character. This fortifies your purpose, fortifies your aim, fortifies your objective. Because honestly, the clarity that you may desire in life it's not developed through comfort. I had someone ask me that the other day, and they were saying, "What is it that you?" Long story short, because but he was just saying, "How do I get to know what you know? Like, how do I get to see the perspectives that you see? How is it that you come to these perspectives? How do you see these things?" And I shared with them a lot of pain. I fail a lot because I try a lot. So my frequency of failure is much higher than the average person. So I can tell you 20,000 ways to do something wrong, and to not actually accomplish it and get it done. So in doing that, and especially when you're invoking different energies and archetypes to actually do something, you're saying, okay, I have to solve this problem here. Let me invoke this energy. Oh, no, that's not the right one. That didn't work. All right, well, let me invoke this energy. No, that's not the right one to pick. Let me invoke. And you're basically going through your toolbox, and you're seeing which one works for which situation, but that comes with a high degree of failure. And you have to be prepared for that failure. And some individuals are so terrified of failure, they never attempt anything. You see, you have to almost become like the fool that we speak about, or the translucent, playful, androgynous, Elegba, Eshu energy, where you're willing to become anything and shapeshift and morph in order to get done what needs to get done. You see, and in doing that, you never truly fail, because it's never you actually taking the action. It's a character or an archetype that you put on until you hit that combination. Oh, okay, this is the one that actually works. This is the one that will be successful in this particular endeavor. And then what do you do after that? You try another endeavor. And you just keep going and going and going and going and going. So not being afraid to fall on your face is a powerful ally in your self-development. not being afraid to humiliate yourself is a powerful ally in your self-development. So, to answer, that's how I kind of answered the brother's question. And, it was a more in-depth answer, but that was basically the bulk of what I said to him. I've tried a lot of things, and a lot of times as leaders, we sacrifice our gaiety or we sacrifice our lightheartedness in order to be able to serve. We have to sometimes come into a place of sobriety that other people don't have to. We're not the first ones always to laugh at the jokes. We're not the first ones to make the jokes. We're maybe not even the ones that the children want to play with all the time, because we just don't, not that we're mean, but we just don't have the lightheartedness of maybe what, the mommy does or other individuals do, because the process of life has silenced us. So we come back into that childlike mode of the baby. And in so many traditions, you have these from Krishna, you have the baby Krishna, to the Ibeje, which is, like I've mentioned before, it's always the twins that are the saviors of humanity. In Western culture, we're always taught that it's a single, lone individual. Typically, that individual is a male. Now that there's been a more sophisticated feminist agenda, now we get certain movies like Star Wars and things where the savior is a female. You get a lot of these little army movies and stuff, and the woman picks up a gun and she's, kicking men in the face and knocking them out one punch and things like that. But, again, that is some of the sickness of Western culture, where it's never really about balance. It's about replacing one oppressor for the other, and that has never been what we've been about. So in many societies, you find that there's or at least in indigenous societies, there's this twin, or an androgynous pair, like you find with the Nomo when you're dealing with the Dogon mysteries. Okay, so the twin has always been, one of the reasons why we celebrate so much in Yoruba land and many other cultures when a twin comes forth, and why they're allowed to do so much. A lot of people don't know. They think it's just because, twins are special. So, like we're always taught in Yoruba land, let them do what they want. But because their deityhood is recognized, the fact that they're mirroring the Messiah or the Ish or the Esh, sounds like Eshu again, right? Ish is a word that means Messiah. Okay, so anybody who's named Alice, because the Alice, it's actually Alish, or Alicia, is another one. The Owl or the Ali, or the Owl means exalted or divine, and the Ish means Messiah. So, or Ishmael, you might know someone named Ishmael, like in the book Moby Dick. Right, but in any event, so it was that twin energy, that twin activity that truly represented the saviors of humanity, you see. So pushing beyond a lot of times our comfort zone, like I was saying, it brings a certain sobriety, and leaders are typically hardened by life. Real leaders, they're hardened. Now, they may joke around, they may play around a bit, but there's always, it's almost like Smokey Robinson said, the tears of a clown. There's always kind of a sadness or even a hardness behind the smile or behind the laugh. And that's because they've gone through some experiences that the average person would have murdered themselves had they have gone through themselves, and they may not speak about it. So like when the individual had asked me, how do you know all these things? And I said, I share the information that I do casually, and I purposely make it sound casual, because if I told you how I acquired some of this information, it would be distracting. That would be the distracting point. If you knew how I knew certain things or was able to do certain things, it would become a distraction, because now that story will be the thing. And a narcissistic leader always wants to be the distraction. Always wants the story to be about them. But sometimes you have to hide your journey, because your journey alone could be a book. Your journey alone could be the mythology. And as a teacher, there's times where you have to take those very hard and arduous experiences, or those 1,000,001 failures that you've experienced. You have to keep that to yourself, and you share the success to almost make it look easy. Because once you've cracked open the gate of a particular possibility through all of your failures, and you said, okay, well, I've worn out all the energies that would have tripped us up. I've moved all the stones out of the path. I've pushed all of the rock obstacles. Everything is gone now. The lane is open. You're not going to necessarily, at least if you're a caring leader, you're not going to necessarily speak about all of the work that you did to save everybody. I had to move this rock. I had to clear this road. I had to sweep. I had to do this, that. And now you're able to do it. You're just going to say, no, take the road, go up there and do what you got to do. And, even in physical reality, it's very interesting because back home on a continent, there's many villages that I've done work in where I've actually cut the road to certain places, or cut the road to patches of land where people now cut through and drive equipment trucks through. And some may know, I'm sure some remember, but most don't care that I was the one who paid to have those roads cleared, to pay to have them cut. Whether it be through manpower. What we call manpower back home is like when really the brothers just come out with machetes and shovels, and they just cut and they clear and they level the land like that. So you have manpower, and then of course then you could have the backhoe when they come with the machinery and clear like that. I am a advocate of manpower, even though I will admit sometimes when you use manpower, the job is not as correct as it should be. There's actually sometimes there's been some issues because of manpower. The roads weren't cut right or whatever. But I'm an advocate of it because you're employing the actual community. It takes longer, but that's okay. The longer it takes, and again, I'm just giving a little side tips for those who ever want to travel to the continent and do things. Never be afraid to give someone a long job. Okay, just remember that the clock is different back home. Here we want to rush to hurry up and have everything. There it's about forming and building the relationship. So there's been times I've done work and I always say, no, well, let's use manpower, especially if it's a community that I don't know too many people in, and using manpower, I get to go down to the work site. What's up? I eat with everybody. Let's eat breakfast together, whatever, or not necessarily breakfast. It's not breakfast in the sense that we may sit down at a table, but, someone may bring something in a bag, or the day before they may have been working and caught a squirrel or a snake in the grass out there and, eat it right there on the spot, which is another interesting phenomenon. A lot of times people will, if a grass cutter or something is caught, they'll cook it right there in the bush, because if they are unable to share it with everyone in the village, which of course would be pretty much impossible, they'll just eat it so as to not cause strife. So many different things that are done to keep things calm and to keep things cool and to not cause strife. And that speaks to the complexity of our minds that we have to have when we come back into our right mind. Everything is not always about the brute force of I want it. So my justification is I want it. Let me check this signal. Okay, looks like it's still coming through clear. So it's not always about I want to do this or I want to do that. And even in your teaching, like I said, it's not always about trying to get glory because of the road that you cut or the path that you took. It's just about making sure that whatever you do is purposeful. So like I said, using manpower back home is purposeful. Now, I don't explain all of that because for the most part, people over there don't understand what it means to be able to interact for a long period. So let's say if you have to do a job And you say, well, okay, if we use manpower, it will take like 4 or 5 days, which is never a real number back home, by the way. You know, whatever number you're giving to get something done, pretty much triple it. At the very minimum, double it, but at least triple it. If someone says they can build something for you and it will take them 14 days, it's going to take at least a month or longer, at least a month or longer. Okay. Things are just done different. If you get an estimate for supplies, and your estimate is $100, let's say $100, I would say budget for $175. Okay. So, or more. And don't forget you have to buy chop. Chop is food. You know, so you might have to, buy chop. So you got to throw chop in there. And then because the job is going to take long, I'm going to tell you how it goes. Somebody says, I'm going to do something in 7 days. Right? By about the 4th or the 5th day, most brothers and sisters, they're going to step to you and say, I need some money, I just need something for now, to finish. If you could help me out, I need something for now. Right? And he said, wait a minute, you haven't finished the job. You said it'll be done in 7 days. I know, boss. It'll be done tomorrow. It'll be done by tomorrow. That's just what they say. Because time is a little different. The construct of time is a bit different back home. But, so you'll say, okay, here's some money. Here's this, here's that. Here, take this, Go buy yourself some food. Go get this, go get that, right? Well, you've just extended that job. But there's no way around it. It's just that's what you do. But that's also how you get to learn about people. So you say, oh man, I need some money, I have to send my daughter some money or something like that. So now you know about the person's daughter. So it is through our business interactions that we develop those relationships. And a lot of times we're just not used to developing relationships through businesses here, because in the Anglosphere, if you're not coming as a collective, as a nation, or as a community, your business interaction is usually very sterile. You always kind of feel like you're on the outside of things, but back home it's a different experience. So sometimes what you want to do is you want to milk the business transaction for all that it could be. You want to actually extend it. So that's why I say a lot of times I'll use manpower, because something that could have maybe taken a machine 1 day or 2 days, right? So much more convenient. But remember, usually when you're bringing in a machine, you're bringing someone in from outside the community. Okay. But if you use manpower, what may have taken 1 or 2 days may take 6 or 7. But that's 6 or 7 days that you get to soak up the culture. Watch. Sometimes it's the small things, the little things, you get to sit out there, or if you come out and you get to see the brothers' wives come and bring them food, or come and check on them for money, see if they got any money yet. And sisters back home, very, it's very interesting and sometimes humorous drama when it comes to money. They'll come with the baby strap. You'll hear this one sister, I'm going to say his name. Y'all will probably never meet him, but this brother by the name of Kaki. His name is Kaki, and he works for me. He does he's supposed to do ground maintenance, but Kaki is so lazy. But I keep Kaki on because Kaki back in the days in the village was kind of he was kind of a thief. He was a thief. He was known as a thief. So he has a very bad reputation in the village, okay, because he used to steal and he drinks. But he's a very good brother, and he commands a lot of respect, from the young people especially. He commands a lot of respect. Even when he used to get drunk, no one would ever see him, but he would come around smelling like alcohol. But Kaki's wife, and he took on a child that she had. Her first man, I believe he had gotten killed in a boating accident or something like that. So he stepped in and played the father role. But she comes to the work site and me, oh my goodness, like every day, cocky. It sounded like a rooster. Yeah, you could almost just time her, cocky. And then I would always come outside and say, oh yeah, hey sis, hey, oh baba, mwaha baba, good evening. It means mwaha, good evening baba. Yes, it actually gets all soft and tender. Kaki? Is Kaki? No, sis, he's down at the bar because Kaki's always at the bar at lunchtime, and she go with baby strapped to her back, right back down the hill, But these are the little nuances that you kind of get to see, and even the honor, bringing his brother his lunch as well. Little small things like that, or if someone is tired, they just lay down on the ground. There's a different relationship with the earth. It's not that, well, this ground is dirty. Lay right out on the sand, fall out for hours. Like you taking a real nap. So it's through all these little things that a lot of times I don't share. Being out in the bush for days upon end, from nights on end. I've been out in the bush for nights on end with no shelter, and you learn little things, and sometimes you may go through a 6 or 7 day journey to learn one small thing, but that one small thing is valuable. And as a leader, you stack all of these small things up, and then you bring them back to your people, which is what I do when I speak to our new people or our Nubians, and we do the retreats, and we do, just the moments when we're speaking on the phone or we're sitting and breaking bread. Because I've sat down physically with many of you and had discussions and conversations, and may not always share where I get the information, but I'm telling you, it comes through a lot of work, a lot of exploration, and most importantly, way more failures than success. Way more failures than success. Okay, I have empty buildings around the world that I've built, literally. Dreams. Empty buildings around the world with dilapidated temple signs in the front of them. From Tanzania to Nigeria. Okay. To matter of fact, to Westchester County, I still got buildings with my original signs on them that I put up. My storefronts, so I'm not going to do a documentary on the failures of Chief Yuya, but they are out there. You see, when you're moving beyond your comfort zone and you're looking to go into that place where you're going to shake off some of the excess of your failures and your fears, and you're going to put yourself into a place of uncomfortable uncertainty. That's where the real magic comes from. When you have that certainty that things are going to be taken care of, or things are always taken care of, and you lose that discomfort in your life, you lose that discomfortability, then there's no reason for you to expand your flexibility. There's no reason for you to test your flexibility. So if you're not testing your flexibility all throughout your entire structure, then you're not growing, because remember, flexibility leads to enlightenment. Okay, that's why even when you look at Yoruba culture, Congolese culture, let's say Bantu culture, let's just capsulize it as Bantu culture. Look at a lot of the images, the artwork of the deities and the archetypes that I don't want to say that we can say that they worshipped or venerated. You'll always see there's always this long flowing movement in the actual lines that they're drawn with. Just take notice of that. Even if you fast forward it to a more contemporary design, you look at, what was his name, Ernie Jones? I think I might have that name wrong. But the brother who did the artwork for the Marvin Gaye albums, and he also did the artwork for the show Good Times. Look at how the characters were drawn. They almost look like aliens or Ethiopians, right? Because if you look at an Ethiopian, especially the Ethiopian male, An Ethiopian male looks just like the depiction of the aliens that Aleister Crowley came up with in the 40s, which later became the little green men that became like the epitome of how aliens are supposed to look. Little short, lanky green men with long limbs and large heads. Go look at a Somalian man or an Ethiopian man. And remember, you're looking at one of the oldest cultures on the planet. But that's neither here nor there. But so, like I said, when you're willing to go into that space with this full flexibility like that, and you're willing to jump from your foundations. You're willing to jump from your foundations. Now that's a transformative aspect and the moving of power that we call Oya, when you're tearing the fabrics of reality. But in order for Oya to really do what she needs to do, she has to lose foundation. She has to pull away from Yemonja. Yemonja represents those foundations, or set is those foundations. She can't do that under the skirt, or under the protection, or under the certainty of the mother. She has to strike out on her own. That's why a lot of times you find women who are akin, or men. You know, I don't want to just say women, because I do know some Oya men as well. Oya men are very interesting. The manifestation is much different with Oya men. They're Oya men are close, are like a fine line between Ogun and Oya. And you know, Ogun or Oya are one and the same. So when you find Oya men, you really see a real manifestation of that androgyny. And I don't mean from a sexual perspective, but I mean having both qualities of that masculine and feminine, the masculine being the Ogun and the feminine being the Oya. But I find that Oya men are usually a lot more calmer than Oya women. It's very, very interesting. And that calmness, I'm not saying calmness is better than high activity or high energy. It's just different. But you find a lot of times with those Oya women, there's a constant movement. You know, there's a constant shaking up of things. And it's because through that movement and through those sways, that's how they gather power. Because they have to lose the foundations of certainty that they stand upon. And when they don't lose those foundations of certainty, they begin to weaken and to wither. And they go into a place of stagnation, or that set place. They materialize in concrete way too much. So then the scary thing, again, if you have an Oya and you don't know how to properly prepare that Oya as a child, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll do something very harmful or dangerous to themselves or others around them in order to gain their strength back, because they didn't know that, no, you got to stay moving. So a lot of times I speak to Oyas oftentimes they cheat. You know, they'll acquire an affair, and that's their way of feeling alive again. You know, and remember that vibration and many other maternal energies, when we look at them, we're looking at water energies, or we're looking at earth energies. So we're looking at energies that primarily they receive a lot, but they produce a lot. And you know, one of the dangers that comes in there, and I think in any cultural structure or any spiritual structure, but definitely in a cultural structure, sometimes we look at, and certain cultures stress this a little bit more than others. Sometimes we look at certain people or certain members of our societies as servants, but they never are allowed really to, even if momentarily, step outside of the role of the servant. Okay, so a lot of times you even find that in love relationships, especially those who may be following a more biblical paradigm, and you have a man and you have his helpmate, which is his woman. Oh man, I got a beautiful red and black bird right in front of my window. I think it's a cardinal. Right near my, look at that. Getting ready to go over to my shoe. But I may have to play the Eshu invocation again. You may have to hear it again, folks. Okay. I'm gonna wait and see. But like I was saying, a lot of times when you have those those type of energies that are not prepared. But the helpmate idea, right? Which I do, I get it. I can agree with it. I can see it in many senses because, truth be told, and I don't really say this much on air because people don't understand it, but resounding your true note, right? A woman's mission is supposed to be a man's mission. Most of the time when you meet a woman, you ask her what she wants to do, she doesn't know. And she feels guilty for not knowing. She feels depressed and she's saddened because she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. So she does what society tells us she should do, and then she finds out usually around early 30s, maybe even early 40s, but usually in her 30s that she's not happy doing any of those things, and it hasn't brought her the fulfillment that she thought it was going to bring her. And then she'll come to someone like me, and I'll say, well, what do you want to do? And then she'll start stuttering. She'll make up a bunch of things, and then ultimately she'll say, you know what, I don't even know. Right? Because that's not your design. Your design is to produce and be an arsenal for someone who does know. So for someone who does have that direction, and you're supposed to be swept up in their drag wind. You see? But the problem is, in this society, we unisexualize things. So a man is supposed to know what he wants to do. A woman is supposed to know what he's supposed to do. A woman is supposed to be able to cook and clean. A man is supposed to be able to cook and clean. A man is supposed to be able to give a firm handshake, look someone in the eye, and speak in public. A woman is supposed to be able to give a firm handshake, look someone in the eye, and speak in public. So we don't really make distinctions other than a man has to learn how to put a condom on, and a woman has to learn how to use maxi pads. You see, and sometimes we forget that we're taking these cues and these cultural ideas and this cultural structure from a society that's never respected either gender, never respected the power of manhood, aside from making weapons that look like penises, and never respected the ideas of femininity, aside from making logos that look like fallopian tubes and vaginas. So beyond the call and the purposes of manipulation, they've never respected either gender assignment. So what happens is a lot of times when people are traveling in a way, and I'm going to say women for a moment, because this is where you see it most often, when they're traveling in a way that is so unnatural to what it is that they were designed for, and they can never move themselves outside of that place of unhappy servitude. They don't find joy in actually supporting a mission or being a part of a mission and making sure that it comes to fruition. It's not a joyful experience for them. What then happens after that is they do something to have something for themselves. So they say, you know what, I'm going to have an affair, I'm going to get a tattoo, I'm going to dye my hair green, but I'm going to do something for me. Because all this time, I've been serving everyone else's purpose. I've been serving everyone else's dreams. I've been fueling everyone else's dreams. I've been sewing costumes for people's plays that they want to put on, and proofreading people's books, and making meals and foods for people's events, all of these different things, but I have not done anything for me. And I'm no longer finding the true happiness in that service, because at the same time, not being taught about my femininity, not being taught about my womanhood, that service makes no sense to me. I take no pleasure in it. I don't really know where we're going with this. You see, that's one of the issues and the challenges that happens when you join yourself to a male with no direction, but you have that sense of, I want to help, I want to serve, I want to help serve your mission, but there really is no mission. Frustration ensues later, and then what comes forward is your Oya. Remember, she's inside of all of us. She's inside of all of us. So then you become a destructive tornado. You start to spiral down and say, I'm going to do something for me. It may start with an affair, or it may start with you lying about something, keeping a secret. I'm going to just going to lie about something. I've seen this even in previously. Like when I say previously, I'm going to share. A lot of times people will see my family structure, especially, men and women, is amazed at the fluidity and the peacefulness of it. but they were not around for all the insanity in earlier years. They were not around for all the craziness, so there's a process that happens. One of the things in speaking about this subject that I've seen sometimes flare up is when a woman is in a position where she's sharing, and I'm all about sharing, and I don't just mean mate wise, but I'm all about, removing a lot of the ideas of ownership of, like cars or land or things like that. When I bought my very first house, I just immediately from day one, I saw it as a community house. I mean, when I'm in there, when I was in the closing, signing the papers, and, I saw it like, okay, cool. So now we can, share the space. People who don't have homes, who maybe have apartments, and now they can use our space whenever they want to do something and they need more space or this or that. And my mind immediately went there. It was very we-centered. And not everyone is like that. And you have to respect that everyone is not like that per se. And sometimes what can happen is when you live a fantasy, and the fantasy is the assumptions that everyone is thinking like you're thinking. When you live that assumptive fantasy, what then happens is people may go along with it for a little while, but if it's not really in them, but just on them, at some point the oil is going to flare up and they're going to say, I want something of my own. I want my own. It's very similar to when Oya stilled the charm of the fire breathing. When Shango said, go pick this up for me from Eshu, because it was Eshu who made that charm for him. Even though in most of the stories they don't tell you it's Eshu, but remember, Eshu, Oya, Shango, these are titles. So you have to look at the characteristic of the person they're talking about sometimes, and then you can determine the title category that person fits in. But it's not a 1-2 thing. So I know a lot of times people, they simplify this. Don't simplify it. Don't spit on the culture. You're talking about a 1,000,000-year-old culture and very brilliant people. You with your sick Anglosphere mind is not going to come along and figure it out in 5 minutes. So don't do that. I see a lot of people all the time. They simplify Nigerian wisdom, and that's only because it's been made so popular. It's been put out so much, so and to some degree, it's been devalued. So they say, "Oh, well, that's just the Orisha." People don't even say the name right. I know about the Orisha. It takes time. Our elders are genius. Our elders are genius. I'm telling you. The sobriety of the Western mind has its place. Don't get me wrong. There's a goodness to us being able to look at our mythology and our structures and look at them with a sober mind and say, okay, well now let's decode them instead of just dancing and drumming and singing the songs. And let's now look at what was being spoken about. Now we got that from our Westernhood, many of us. Our desire to analyze and to quantify and to decode. So there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not shooting that down per se. But sometimes we end up denigrating age-old wisdom, because of our desire to get something quickly or to claim something quickly, without realizing the amount of flexibility it took of the human mind, the bending, to understand and to come up with these theories. And if your mind hasn't bent in that way or even close to that way, even if you do read these things or read these words, if you recite them, they have no power to them because you haven't bent and flexed with your whole being in that direction. And that's what I was speaking about with yesterday, or last night's segment. It's that bending and that flexing, which I know that we're all going to practice this strong in. Even if you just do it physically, or you listen to some music you don't normally listen to. Go listen to some country and western or some classical or some music from the Andes, some Andes flute music, but try to bend and flex in different ways, But, that idea of the persistent and the perpetual servitude it creates just that. It creates someone who rebels against it and says, I want my own now. And like I said, I've even seen that in plural families, blended families. I've experienced it in mine years ago. Small example, I'm not going to really tell too much of my business, but there's sometimes little things that somebody will hide or will lie about. And you might say, well, why would you lie about that? And, of course, sometimes we may have an immediate egoic reaction. You lied to me, but you have to understand it's not about you. People are working through things, a lot of times. And sometimes an individual will maintain a lie because of ownership. They want something. A lie becomes a cloak of secrecy, and they want some level of insulation from themselves and the world. They're tired of giving everything up. In a plural situation, they may say, okay, I'm sharing my children, I'm sharing my man, I'm sharing my home maybe, I'm sharing my finances, and everything I'm sharing. What do I get? Because that Western demon's going to come back in there. Just because we put the cloak of culture on doesn't mean that we've cleansed and purified ourselves. That's what I was speaking about last night, the purification that comes through the crossification of the Son, or the crucifixion, so that way we can become the Christ. What has to happen? Everything dies, so the soul can come forth. The main thing that dies on the cross is your human psychology. It's not so much about the body. The body's easy. That's no big deal, because the spirit exists after the body. And the spirit and the psychology are really one and the same. You see, your thoughts create spirits. Your spirits create thoughts. They have a very interesting love affair cycle between the two of them, between the spirit and thought. So what really truly needs to die is the human psychology. If you have to come back to this planet and do it again, why is it? Is it because you ate too many donuts? Is it because you were anorexic? Is it because you were morbidly obese? I bet you not. I bet you had those physical ailments and conditions because of your human psychology. So that's always the component that needs to flex and bend the most. Because when the human psychology is willing to bend, other things are willing to bend. Other things are willing to flex. You see, without that openness, there's always going to be a lack of power. There's always going to be a lack of expression of will without the bending and the flexing, and then eventually it has to bend so much and flex so much to the point that it just pulls apart. Now that's your moment of crossification. That's your moment of crucifixion. That's the great value of the Zodiacal wheel. I have an image in a book. I meant to take a picture of it and use it as a show image. Looking around on my table. I think I put the book back on the shelf. I'll pull it down. But this was an image that helped me many years ago. Many years ago, when I was, I don't want to say fresh on my journey, but it was probably in some of the earlier stages of my journey. And it's an image of Christ, of Jesus, the Christ, as far as depicted by the Catholic Church. So we're looking at Cesare Borgia, because that's who the image is of, Cesare Borgia. But it's an image of the Christ, and around the Christ, I bet you could probably find this image online. Most of the things I have in books, these books I paid $100, $200 for just for a picture. I go on Google search now and see now for free. It's a good time. It's a good, there's no complaint there. It's a good time. But around the Christ is the image of the 12 Zodiac. And I remember seeing this, and in this particular book, there wasn't even much explanation about it. It was kind of, sometimes a book would be explaining a period, and then they'll put a picture, and it'll be just a little caption. But that small little caption kind of exploded my mind at the time. And it went on to help define many of the things that I speak about with you all to this day. Because I'm saying now in the church, they speak against the horoscope and the zodiac. Well, at least, yeah, they do in the church. I don't want to say in the scriptures, but in the church. They speak against that. So this is an old Catholic picture. Why would, the church, the old Catholic church, the belly and the womb of all religious evil, why would they have this image? Now, of course, in the Catholic, nobody practices more ritual and ceremonial magic than Catholics. Down from the clothes to they up there speaking in Latin. It's basically like Harry Potter. Going to a Catholic mass is basically like going to Hogwarts school. It's Harry Potter. You just standing in front of a bunch of wizards and warlocks. I think only second to that would probably be the United States judicial system, where you have that much ritual and ceremony, occult ceremony in one space in such a condensed sort of time. You come in, they're waving frankincense, and it's really, you want to get into some occult, what people like to think black magic is, but it really isn't. Go to a Catholic mass. You'll come out feeling real witchy or real warlocky. But and to my honest admission, I'll be honest with you, I've never been to a Catholic mass. I have been inside of a Catholic church before, and I have seen a mass through video. But nah, I'm good. But I remember the first time walking. I've been into Catholic church a bunch of times because I used to go and do little things spiritually, and I remember looking at the ceiling and the images, and wow, this is like coming into a warlock's dungeon, just with windows. So anyway, like I was saying, so a lot of times it's like when you might see an image like I saw, and that's what kind of bent the mind in that moment of my perception of what that particular religion was really saying, because I'm seeing the zodiac and then I'm seeing the Christ in the center, and no explanation. So I had to really allow the mind to bend to think about it and think about it and think about what the heck are they saying here. And remember, this is many years ago now. You all have heard me say many times now that you have to go through that full zodiacal wheel in order to become yourself, or to become what we call the Christos. Christos being the Esh, which means, the word Esh means fire. Again, sounds like Eshu, and can even be likened to Ashe. Or in Yoruba, Ashe, Ose, or Say, period, S-E, Say. It connects itself to fire, or even to the I Ching hexagram of Li, fire. Okay, so when you see that Esh, Eshe, Oshe, Ashe, Eshu, you're talking about really the activation of the fire element. Okay, that's why it talks about when I come back, I judge the world with fire. I judge with water the first time, so I'll judge with fire. It's that Esh or that Ish, that Messiah aspect. But in any event, seeing again that image and seeing the Christos, I'm saying the Christos, but it was a straight up image of Cesare Borgia, the fake Jesus pictures. And seeing that zodiac around it, I said, oh, okay, so I get it now. We're supposed to be that thing in the middle. And you're supposed to be able to be all of these different things in this circle, in order to be the thing in the middle. Now, I could have looked at it and said, the thing in the middle is more powerful than all the things in the circle. So God is even greater than your zodiac. I could have went that direction, but my mind was not bending in that direction. I spent some time in a Christian church, and I never actually joined a church, nor was I ever baptized, nor did I answer an altar call to be saved or anything like that. Now, no one knew it. I didn't grow up in the church. I spent a lot of time as well in the Nation of Islam. I never took my Shahada. So I've actually been through a lot of different systems at a deep level. And people who were members of those systems thought I was just as invested as they were. And I guess on some levels, I thought I was too. But there was always those one or two acts of commitment that for some reason I just never did. I just never did them, and I just didn't I kind of didn't feel it, and I just didn't move in that direction. Though I kind of just kept in the back of my mind, I will one day. One day I'll take my shahada. One day I will be baptized, and so many, but just never did, which was good because it kept my mind flexible and open to be here today and then wherever I'm going to be tomorrow, because it's not always going to be about what I'm talking about right now, but to be where I'll be tomorrow. So again, seeing that image of the Christos with the 12 zodiac around it at a very young stage, or I don't want to say young, but early stage in my slow awakening, it gave me that ideation that no, this is responsibility is on us. This isn't about something flying out of the sky and saving you, because the Ish, the Oshe, the Ashe, the Eshu is the fire of the Messiah. All of those words relate to the word Messiah. But if this image is sitting in the center of it, and we all come with these physical zodiacal assignments, but at any time we can act like a different one, then that means we're supposed to be that fire of redemption. And that fire is the purification of all of these different archetypical energies. So you want to be able to purify yourself from the Cancer. Pure. Another beautiful bird. Red. I told you my home is like a pathway for all the birds. They all come here. This one is yellow and red. It has a bright red beak and yellow body, red wings. All right. So I'm going to give you, after I gave you all the turkey thing yesterday, I'm going to give you all the birds that come through. I'm going to give them to you. But yeah, so that's what just flew up right when I was just talking. Right next to my Eshu. I'm facing my Eshu, my outdoor Eshu. But, so yeah, having that flexibility and that suppleness of thought, that suppleness of mind can change your entire direction. So in that moment, seeing that and seeing those archetypes and seeing those energies, that's what helped to now spurn the thought of Anu that you're listening to today. When you hear me say things like, you have to do your own work. You have to go through the gateway yourself. I can't go through with you. Don't lock yourself into any one personality characteristic, because in doing so, you're locking yourself into a heaven or a hell of a particular spiritual archetype. But you have to learn to be the 12 disciples, or the 12 disciplines, or the 12 zodiacs, or 12 obviously is a common number. I had 12 turkeys in my yard yesterday, but you have to learn to master all of those disciplines in order to be the Messiah, in order to be the risen one, or really for us it's the rising one, because we're still moving. It's a constant movement. It's kind of what Oya reminds you of. So the flexibility of mind is critical. Now I promised myself I would speak for a time, about an hour, then open up the phone lines for anyone who wants to speak good words. All right. The number is 515-605-9862. 515-605-9862. As you see, I have to pause because it takes me a moment for the numbers to roll off my tongue, and you would just hit the number 1 if you want to speak. All right. That is the idea of what I'm calling opening up the virtual court. The virtual court, me speaking, and then I'm opening up the virtual court, if you will. All right, so I'm opening up the lines. I'm going to continue to share on these topics and this idea and get you right for the Friday, the day of quarreling. That's what we have in our Yoruba. It's a day of quarreling, but quarreling doesn't mean like what many of us think it means here. Okay, for us, quarreling is stating your case, stating where you're coming from, and stating where you're coming from is just being authentic to who you are and what you are. That's what the day of quarreling represents. I know in so many other societies, when we think about quarreling, we think about war. We think about I'm gonna go at you, I'm gonna attack you, I'm gonna destroy you, I'm gonna decimate you, I'm gonna humiliate you. But when you're quarreling amongst family, sometimes you look forward to the quarreling when you're with family. You may have a family gathering and you say, I know as a child, a lot of times we can't wait till the adults get drunk. And then they start arguing about politics or, who was who's the best dancer, whatever it is, because it's all love. It's all friendly banter. And so the day of quarreling, always understand when you're taking these spiritual ideas and attributes, do not always take them in the way where you're translating with your Anglosphere mind. You'll miss the point. You'll miss the meaning. Always use love as a subcontext and start with that subcontext when you're interpreting these ideas. So even when we speak about coming back with the judgment of fire or Ashe correlates to fire, but Ashe really more strongly correlates to the menstrual cycle. Every time you're saying Ashe, because that's the way you say it. We usually, because, we say words however we feel like it. Obatala. It's Obatala. Obatala. The truth is, if you don't say it with the right tones, you're saying something different. But it's, you get it as you go. But Ashe, dang, 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 dang. That's how I always remember the tones just through music. Like dang, 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 dang. But Ashe. So when you learn it from that you say, okay, well, every time I'm saying that, I'm speaking about menstrual blood? Huh. And that relates to fire somehow. Well, that makes sense because fire purifies. And during that time, isn't a woman detoxifying herself? And she's at her most powerful. So you mean to tell me all this time I'm saying Ashe, I'm calling forth feminine energy? You see, so it takes you down a trip. It takes you down a long trip, a beautiful trip. 615. You're on what I'm calling Dawning Devotional.
Greetings, Chief.
Greetings, my brother. How you doing today?
All right, boy. You boy.
Hey, Akbo Ato.
Do you aware they charging people for Blog Talk now?
To listen or to host?
To listen.
No, I wasn't aware that there was a fee. So what do you mean? If you call the phone number, does it ask you for money?
It's saying that they charging 1 cent a minute.
To where? How are they charging you 1 cent a minute? It's not a 917 number.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. It's saying that when I called in, it was like this call is outside your range and they require a 1 cent a minute charge.
No, I don't. I'm not aware of that. We didn't get the memo on that one, but I'll look into it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It might be something going on with T-Mobile.
Yeah, it could be on your end. Yeah, I've never heard anything like this. It doesn't matter. Whatever this is, it's short-lived. I'm about to go to Nigeria and get one of them little genius 14-year-olds to code me up some software to do my own back end on this. That's what I'm getting ready to do. And I bet you I could do it just for the price of a laptop. Because I know you give them a laptop and a phone, they'll do anything for you. So that's what's about to happen here. Yeah. So what are the words? Oh, for sure. What are the words you have for the people as a man of Anu today?
Pay attention to your dreams, because I had a crazy dream.
Nah, we're not doing no dreams. Nah, we don't want to hear about no dreams today. No, especially your dreams, because your dreams are too vivid and too animal-like. No, we don't want to hear about you wrestling no giant snake fighting King Kong. Give us something else. Pull something else. Pull something else out of your hat.
That's what it was.
Nah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't want none of that.
Okay.
What else you got?
As a man of Anu, you have to look at the world different. You have to know, open in and understand that you're not like everybody else. You're just not. And when certain situations, every situation that you come across is either a growing experience or a teaching experience. So like when you, as a man of Anu, when you come into a situation where everyone else is like, well, I don't understand this. Okay, this is what it is. Let's break it down. Let's go from the bottom and work our way to the top and look at things from from a holistic perspective, as opposed to getting sucked in to the emotional rhetoric that everyone else gets sucked into. So a lot of people not going to like you. A lot of people not going to feel you. But the people who need the message will get it. So to me, as an Anu man, one of the primary functions of an Anu man is to be a unbiased messenger to those that seeking knowledge. So that's what I've been encountering lately.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, we could work with that. When are you going to get your business off the ground?
I'm working on that when I get back from going out of town in April.
Okay. So when are you going to get your business off the ground?
We're going to say the projection date is April 8th. That's my projection date.
Okay, April 8th.
April 8th.
Okay, now
projection date.
Which business is this? Which one is this?
The security company.
Okay, security company. You're getting off the ground April 8th. How can the people help you?
How can the people help me? You can
now we know your date. Aside from now knowing your date and holding you to it and making you feel guilty and shameful if you don't keep the date. Aside from that.
Okay. Aside from that.
How can we help?
How can the Anu Nation help? By letting me know within the Atlanta area anyone who needs security detail done and what type of security detail they need done. Because I'm about to go get some valuable experience coming up this next month that I will, on my return, tell y'all what happened. But it's really big if it goes through. So after that, then I'm going to need to know who needs what and when.
Mm-hmm.
Where can we go get
on your actual firm?
You said what now?
Where can we go to get some more literature on your actual firm?
Well, right now y'all can just go to my Facebook page. It's DJ Tucker, and just DM me on that, and then I'll start giving a rundown of what services my firm will offer, from consulting to private protection to bodyguard.
That's it, Dietrich. That ain't it.
Yeah, that's not it. Okay.
Nah, I should have at least heard you say we have a Facebook business page.
Right.
And if you can look in the description of the page, and it gives you a rundown of what we do. Because you're going to sit there and email and talk to everyone one-on-one like that. You don't have time to do that. You're too busy doing more important things. So we need to be able to go to a Facebook page and read exactly, and that's at the very minimum, and be able to read exactly what your mission statement is and what you provide and how to get in contact with you.
All right. So I'm going to work on that today.
So when are we going to be able to do that?
You'll be able to do that by this show Friday.
By next Friday?
By Friday, yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, I know you being the man that you are, I know that you have no issue with, if you don't get that done, there being a consequence.
Yeah, I'm not finna deal with that. It's just gonna get done. I don't want to take no chance. I'm not guessing. I'm not playing around. That's gonna get done Friday.
Okay.
So losing ain't an option right now.
Here we go.
I got too many battles I'm fighting right now in the spirit. I don't need no more.
All right. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. See, that's what I want to hear from our new men. We're getting it done. We're getting it done. So by Friday, we'll be able to actually, by Friday, I'll be able to click on that page and read, or Brother Dietrich could read exactly what it is he does. Because even when you say security and the people who need security, some people don't even know what that means or know if they really need it and know all the things that may entail. You know, and every time you talk to someone about it, you're going to explain it differently each time. which takes away from it. So we want to make sure that's why when you have that mission statement and it's bullet pointed, it's very clear, people will really appreciate that. And it makes it easier for them to share that information with someone else. They can send a link and say, here, check this brother out. He's in Atlanta, da-da-da-da-da-da. So that's all we want from Brother Dietrich. I'm going to bring in Brother Byron. And Big Brother Byron. Hey. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How's everything?
Everything is very well. Thank you very much, Chief. Brother Dietrich, greetings, brother. Yeah, everything's all right. Everything's smooth, Chief.
Yeah, everything's smooth. Good.
Yeah, everything's smooth. We're following the prescriptions to the letter, Chief.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So everything is smooth, and
and we have
forth. No, go on, Chief. Sorry, I cut you.
I was just saying we also have more coming forth as well. Brother Charles and I are going to link with that on something else, but we'll get into that. Yeah.
Okay, Chief. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah. So I really wanted to call in, Chief, because when you were speaking about the Catholic Church and the warlocks and so forth in your earlier delivery, it really resonated with some of my experiences and observations I'm going through at the moment with the folk tongue that I'm experiencing from people in the church that I'm having to deal with at this particular season. And what I'm doing and what we're doing as a family is that we, when my family complain to me and they get upset, I just say to them, we just need to hold our peace and we need to let it just slide for now, because we've made a commitment to our Father that everything is going to go smooth.
Right.
And then if we need to speak about it thereafter or raise any issues thereafter, we'll do that in the appropriate way, going through the elders of the family first and seeing if they can get resolution. So
right.
A couple of my siblings wanted to pick up a couple of machetes and go down and deal with people and everything. I said, no. I said, we can't do that. I said, no.
Right.
We can't do anything like that. Let's just keep it cool. And I'm not saying that you're not wrong to be upset, because that's fine. The elders in the family deal with it first and see if we can get resolution that way at the right time. So it really, what you were saying, Chief, really confirmed what my observations were around aspects of the church. And it was really encouraging, and it not only reinforced my experience, but it also supported me and my family in terms of just keeping it cool for now, and we don't need to do anything. Just as my father-in-law would say, you have to know people for who they are. That's what he always would say to me, and just accept it and just go with it. People are who they are, and so there's no point getting too het up or hot under the collar. If they're displaying their natural characteristics, then you just have to accept it and know how you're going to deal with it.
Right.
So really, that's what I wanted to share, Chief. And also thank you for your lesson today. Your lesson's been really, really sharp. It's been really, really on point. I was pleased that Eshu paid you a little visit there. Yeah. So yeah, I just really wanted to, as ever, say thank you to the Anu family. I've been listening to a lot of the shows during the last few strongs. So I've not called in or raised my hand to speak, but I've just been sat down quietly contemplating and listening to the discussions and to the lectures, etc. So I just want to say I am here. I have not left.
No. We know. We know.
Okay.
It's okay.
Chief. Okay.
And I tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something,
Yes,
brother.
Chief.
Very interesting. You called in. I was thinking
Mhm.
about you yesterday because I have to get back with brother Charles. He asked me a question, and I've been so busy myself. I haven't been able to follow up. And
Mhm.
I had a moment of pause last night, and I just kind of smiled to myself, and I said, there was a time, and often there are times where too many things fall on my own personal shoulders, and not just with Anu, but with just my own personal life. With my family, and very similar to you. You being the rock of your family. I'm the same way within my familial setting, and it's always been that way. I'll take care of it. I'll handle it. And I said, I have to get back to Charles. And there was a rush for a moment, like, oh man, that's another thing I have to get done. So I started to speed up and everything. But then I paused for a second and I said, wow, if I don't speak to Brother Byron right now, someone else is speaking to him. Someone else is thinking about him or trying to take care of something on his behalf. And so it's so interesting. And I had a moment of thankfulness because I said, you know what? I can't, if I wanted to, I couldn't complain that everything is on me. Because look at that right there. Right there, there are other people who are active and functioning to making sure that things that need to be done within this community are getting done. So that's just very interesting that you would call. Yeah, I say that you called this dawning. This was just last night. Just last night, I looked at my phone and said, "Oh, okay, let me get back to Charles." And a little panic rushed over me. It was late, and I said, "Oh, okay." And I had to go out to actually go see an elder. I had to bring something to an elder right now who got put into a nursing home recently, and I've been visiting him regularly just to kind of keep him connected. And I was running late on visiting hours, and I knew I was going to rush in there and then try to, hopefully the guard would let me in. And that little panic came over, and I said, oh, but I got our new stuff, and I saw that, and I said, no, we're getting there.
Yeah.
So yeah, brother, we know you're still there, and you're still with us, and there's still things. There's not a day that goes by that, believe it or not, something is not being done for you or your Baba. If not by me, by someone else.
I know. Yeah. I know that, Chief. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. Yesterday, Chief, yesterday I had to go to the funeral home. The interesting thing is that nobody else in my family wanted to accompany me.
Right.
So I went, okay, that's no problem. So I put on my white attire. I went to the funeral home, and I did what I had to do with the undertakers there. But I also spent time alone with my Baba.
Yeah.
Immediately, Chief, I felt that his energy, even though I was there with the body, immediately I felt that his energy was around very, very strongly. Right. And I'm asking you, Chief, if you can just describe or detail the journey that the spirit would make during this season for somebody that's transitioned.
Okay. The journey of the transitioning person.
Yes, because my sense is, Chief, that the spirit of the transitioning person is not going to be so strong in this realm, say in a month, 2 months, 3 months time. But I felt it very strongly, even though the body was lifeless. I felt a very strong spirit of my father in that space yesterday.
I will share this with you because, as you probably know, I've been through this process at this point more times than I can actually even count. And I will tell you that each time, it's like a birth of a baby. Each time is different. You know, sometimes there's been, like what you just described, you know, I almost categorize them now. So that feeling that you described, and even some of what I've picked up on, sometimes when ancestors go, I've noticed, and I even felt that with your Baba, like an explosion. See, sometimes it's like a small drift off, and then sometimes there's an explosion of presence, where right in that moment, you almost feel like they envelop you. They're all over the place, you know, and you can sometimes even feel their relief. You know, the actual process. Now, I mean, the process is described in many different mythologies. Even in the Yoruba structure, we have our own process that an individual goes through. But what I have personally experienced is it depends on the determination of the person transitioning and the connectedness and evolution of the family that's still here on the ground. That makes, there's a combination I've found every time that makes for a unique experience. Now, like in terms of your Baba, he's going to be around strong for a long time, and I'm going to tell you why, because he had a church. So it's very difficult to forget him. The spirit will be fed for a very long time. You notice, I'm assuming probably, or there will be a picture of him in the church somewhere. You know, if not a picture, a nameplate or something. Right. See, so that right there changes the dynamics completely. Then I hate to say it like this, but almost like your average person who may go and there's less fanfare. So you have a son who's a priest, you know, and a priest who deals with gateways, number one. Then you have twins, you have grandchildren twins who are a gateway, a lot of grandchildren. And then you have this entire building, this entire structure that you once oversaw, where your name was on the tongues of everyone's mouth in there for whatever reason. When energies like that, I find they really disperse and spread out very far for a long time, because each individual now has a different perception of your Baba. There's a different component. It's like you learning Eshu, you being an Eshu priest, and let's say the only Eshu you knew was Odara. Well, once you start learning about other energies, Odara is not going to feel as present to you. But if you learn 30 paths of Eshu, then that energy becomes so much stronger in all of your daily work. So now, look at it like this. I have a path of your Baba, and I've never physically met him. I have an image with him. I've spiritually worked with him. I've fed him. I've served him. I've spoken to him. Even prior to the transition, I've worked with him. So now I have something. I don't know what his favorite food was. I don't know his favorite drink. I don't know none of that. But I have something. You have something. All of the church members have something. The grandchildren have something. The children have something. There's a lot of us that have something. So it would be very difficult now for him to fade, because there's so many paths. Like we have the paths of the different of Orisha. Each individual has different paths as well. So there's now so many active paths of him still on the planet. And at different times, they're going to pop up. It may fade for me in 2 months, right? And then I may get a call from one of my elders. You know, I have family in the Caribbean. And it may make me think about your Baba. Or I may go to Jamaica. And he'll flash in my head, and when I'm there, maybe I might be drinking, I'll pour out some red stripe for him. Now he's here again. So I'm going to tell you, with your Baba, his energy will be strong for some time, because there are so many different people who are connected at this point. and it's going to keep popping up. And he has a picture in a church. Church is a shrine, especially a black church. It's a shrine. There's music in there. There's dancing, tambourine, people sweating and yelling and falling out. That's Ashe. That's a shrine. Okay, so his picture is in the shrine. That's an ancestral altar. If they put his picture inside of that church, you now have a huge ancestral altar. He's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay.
I can tell you.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
And you know the sciences, so I would also, if I were you, at some point, as things cool down, you know the science, you know the value of, make sure that there's always a picture of him there. You might want to put a sign somewhere, because you know that you're actually building a shrine. They don't need to know that. For them, you're just honoring your father who you love, but you're actually creating an ancestral shrine. You could create that inside the church. You know how much feeding Baba would get from that? I mean, he'd be like at the right hand of Oludumare. He would be so strong because, there's olive oil in the church. They're anointing each other with olive oil. They're speaking in tongues. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, there's so much Ashe that's ridiculous, man. You can harness it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief. That's really, really helpful, informative. Really, really, really good. Thank you.
For sure. You're more than welcome, my brother.
All right.
Yeah, you're more. All right. Give my love to the family. You as well.
Yes, definitely. And, the family, we're all tight. The family's tight, Chief. We're strong. And we're supporting each other we're supporting each other. And I must give a shout out to my wife, because she's been a trooper, as they would say over here. She's been rock solid through this season. So I just really wanted to acknowledge that verbally and to the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I would expect no less. But give thanks. Give thanks for Iya. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Okay, Chief.
Sure.
Have a good day.
All right. You as well. Travel safe. All right.
Thank you, and I'm sure we speak soon. Whatever.
Yes, I'll talk. Yeah, man. Yeah, so it's good to hear from the Nubian all the time, every time. And I actually marked down on my digital calendar next Friday for Brother Dietrich as well. So just so no one thinks I forgot. Yeah. So especially you.
You know what? I'm thinking in my mind. Nope. He's not going to make an example out of me on this. So people can go back and archive. Y'all remember? Told him he thought he was talking crazy. You got it. I mean.
We got to see something, brother. We got to, and you can have multiple businesses, because you move around a lot. The Botanica truck, the fruit truck, or the food truck, and the Botanica, and all that. And we with all that. You can have 10 businesses, I don't care. But we need at least one, because at least with one that's real and is confirmed and that's steady, we have some place to send all the Ashe. When you don't have your own business, it's very hard to do wealth rituals. It's very difficult. Because if you have a steady check coming in and someone says, okay, I want to do a ritual for money, well, where's it really going to come from? Maybe you'll hit the number. You might get a little raise, or you're going to get an extra $1 an hour or something like that. But we can't really do the boss player money rituals with you. Now, when you have your own business, it's flexible. See, that's when we talk about the flexibility. So now we may do a ritual and you'll get an influx of 10 clients this month, whereas last month you had 2. You don't really have that same advantage on a job unless you work in sales, where you really have that potential to kind of expand in that way. So we need, and that's for everybody, have at least one funnel. I don't care if you sell cosmetics, if you sell Mary Kay or something. But when you want to do those wealth rituals, at least have one funnel that we can send everything down, because sending it down into your 9-to-5 paycheck is far too difficult. I can't do too much with that. You know, I'm going to bring in Brother Tareen as well.
Peace, Chief. Hello?
I think you pads, yeah. Your brakes are squeaking. You get them pads done.
How you doing, sir?
Things are well today. How's everything with you?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing just fine. I was just checking out the show as I do, you know, on a weekly basis and everything. Just wanted to say, you know, hello to all my fellow Nubians out there, you know, listening in radio land and, you know, on the internet and everything. Just want to say hello to y'all and, you know, everything like that, you know.
No, you got more for us than that. Nah, You're raising a black son. That's what you're raising right now. Now, we don't know if that boy you raising might cure cancer. Okay?
Right.
So we know you got a lot on your hands right now. So those of us who are also raising young black boys, we need some guidance from you, Baba Tareen, because you're Baba. We need some guidance from you on this Friday to start our strong end off properly. You and Dietrich both are raising black sons. The two of them may go back and get together, because you two know each other. The two of them may go back to the continent and form their own sovereign nation. We don't know. So we need some guidance from you today, my brother. What do you got for us?
Man. All I can say is, you know, just be very aware of your surroundings, you know, train your son, you know, to be independent. You know, like, even if it's just, you know, something where, you know, they have to do, you have to give them a task to do something on their own every single day without no help from anybody or anything. Give them something to where they can figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Always.
Like what? Can you give us an example? Give us an example of something that you
that I do with my son, as far as like giving him some tasks to figure out. Well, what I do with my son, as far as school is concerned, I give him a little motivation to want to, you know, get his education by, you know, showing him that this schooling, this knowledge that you get in is like work. So, you know, I pay him. You know, and even if it's not much, you know, I still pay him every time he come home, you know, with a good note. He come home with, you know, things that he's done and the teacher recognizes it. I give him $2. Or I give him, you know, $1. And I do this on a daily basis, you know, just to get my son's mind, you know, to working to where he wants to accumulate, you know, some resources for himself. You see what I'm saying? So I always say, you know.
No, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
I was always saying, yeah, just train your sons, as far as like, you know, those, you know, brothers and sisters out there who have sons, you know, try to, you know, train your son's mind to want to have that independency and not want to depend on you as the parent all the time for everything. And do it at a young age. Like, my son's 12 years old. He just turned 12. And that's what I do for him. Like, I try to teach him, you know, to be independent of me, because I don't know how long I'm going to be here. So I just try to teach him that. So I employ that much advice, you know, to the single parents out there, you know. Nice.
Okay. We can work with that, brother. We can work with that. Give thanks.
Give thanks.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. I'm gonna bring another call in, and those of you on the line, just mute your lines, especially you, Tareen, because you know you got all that noise in the background. Just and if you want to share, just unmute when you want to talk. You could jump in at any time. Just now, when I open up the court for everyone, this is for all of you guys that you can respond to each other. You know, it's open. Okay. So now I'm going to bring in, and again, this is the advantage of Block Talk. because I could bring in people. I'm telling you, I'm going to go to Nigeria, get one of them little geniuses who'll be over there building helicopters out of junk cars to code me some software to do the same thing. All right. So 336, you're on Community Dawning Devotional.
Peace, everyone, and greetings.
Peace and greetings.
I'm very new to this. I just want to say thank you for the shows. Thank you for the information. Thank you for the community. I've really been searching for some type of spiritual guidance that from someone that I felt was sincere and honest. And I just want to say that I appreciate you, Chief. And I just wanted to say thank you for sharing the information about the rituals for finances, meaning that you have to have some type of business or some type of flow of income that you can control on your own, and that's not being dictated to you by a job. And that was just peace to me, and it just gave me further confirmation that that's something that I really need to get back to, and something that I really need to work on is having multiple streams of income as opposed to just a job. And that's all I wanted to say.
No. You're not getting off that easy. That's all I want to say. Try to hang up on. Don't you hang up on me, new girl. So you got any children, sister?
No, I don't.
No children yet? No. Okay. Do you want children?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do.
So, all right. So, how long have you wanted children?
All my life.
Okay. So what's some advice that you can give for sisters who are currently in a position where they're wanting children or wanting a family and, you know, having a little trouble? What are some of the failures that you've gone through that you can warn the other sisters not to repeat?
Oh, wow. So I really just called.
Nope.
Oh, wow.
Come with it. Y'all gonna give today. Y'all gonna give today. Like we say, we're gonna learn today. You're gonna give today.
I would say one of the first things that you need to self-identify with is what is it in your life causing you to not be able to open yourself up to allowing a man to be a man in your life. I think many of us, as me, I grew up in a single parent home, and I grew up around women that were very adamant about being independent. And so in growing up in that atmosphere, I never learned submission. I never learned what it was to need a man. And I think that hindered me throughout my entire life. Also, the fact that I never really had a working relationship with my father, and the men in my family never stepped up to the plate to be a father figure. And if you can recognize that early on in your life, that you never received that validation from a male, then you can sort of work to spiritually attain what you need to get, so that won't be a stumbling block for you.
Okay. So if you met a man, and are you currently in a relationship?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So if you met a man tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, and you started to exhibit some of the dysfunction that comes from that dysfunctional upbringing that you're sharing with us, and he said, you know, I noticed this about you and that about you and that about you. You know, you you don't know how to listen, you're hard-headed, you're stubborn, you this, that, whatever the symptoms that come along with that type of dysfunction, what do your immediate response would be? Would you share what you just shared and say, yeah, I know I have that issue because, I didn't grow up with my father and da-da-da, or would you think you would go into a defensive mode?
No, of course I would share it. You have me on Blog Talk Radio, and you're going to put it on YouTube or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, yes, I would let him know that I really, that's going to be something that I am consistently and will consistently have to work on.
Okay. In an ideal situation, that's what you would do. But you did just admit, which I give you get points for that. You just admitted, well, yeah, if you ask me now in public, I'm going to say the right answer. But, I give you points for being honest about that. Okay.
No,
cool.
I have, but honestly, I have had men to say that to me, and I did tell them that. I'm very, very honest about that, because the thing is that the more you keep it hidden, the more that you are unaware that you're doing it.
Okay.
So as long as I stay in denial, then of course I'm going to keep doing it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. How old are you now?
You asking too many personal questions, and why am I being put on this?
Information did I give you? Hey, how much information did I give you about culture and spirit and all of that? Gave you a lot, right? Change your whole world around, huh? For free. Come with it. How old are you?
I am 40 years old.
Woo. Okay. You got the buzzards flying overhead. All right, so you're 40 years old.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thank you for telling me that.
Well, hey, you knew that. Look up top. You see them. They circling. But okay, so you're 40 years old. You down south, right? You must be down south. Okay. Mm-hmm. Can you cook?
Of course.
Nah, you paused on that. Ain't nobody eating that. You paused on that. Okay. So, yeah, I know what kind of chef you are. I already know what your food tastes like already. I already know. Yeah. Okay,
what my food tastes like?
Unseasoned. Yeah. Unseasoned. Ain't nobody eating that unseasoned rice. Unseasoned rice trying to throw on the plate.
You gotta watch that blood pressure.
Yeah, that's fresh food. Nah, anybody. That's Black Widow food. I done killed all my husbands with my food. Nah, we ain't selling. Yeah, and you hear that laugh? That's that witch's laugh. Yeah. She evil, y'all. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I was gonna try to hook you up with. Taurine or Dietrich. Because they down south. I wasn't sure, but now you done scared them off, I'm sure. Because they got more room in their lives for more. You got room.
Chief.
Look, there we go. We've made a love connection. Yeah, brother. You just make sure whenever you eat, you wear a little chain that has a number to your doctor and your lawyer. Like, yeah, if anything happens, I'll fall out. There's a number to my doctor, because he's feeding me this nonsense. But okay. All right, so you're 40 years old and you're still working through these issues. Yeah, it takes some time. You know what I mean? It takes some time, but you should have got it together by now. So you dragging your heels. You really should have got it together by now. You way behind the clock. I don't know what's kept you distracted all these years. But chop. You understand what I'm saying? Chop.
Yes, sir. Right. I will move a little faster.
Move a lot faster.
Okay. I'll do my best.
You'll be 60 before you know it. You know that, right?
Yes, I know. Do you have to remind me?
Yes, I do have to remind you, because apparently somebody hasn't been. I have to let you know that. That's my job.
Okay.
I'm the chief.
Okay.
That's why nobody likes to talk to me. That's why I sit on my throne by myself. playing boxing games on my cell phone. All right, now let me bring in another call. 510, you're on Dawning Devotional.
Hey, it's Baba Haru. This is the MGC.
MGC, peace, brother. How's everything going with you?
Things are going well.
Good.
I got your email.
Good, yeah.
I responded to it.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You know, it's all about getting on that. You know, we got to get on that work.
Yeah, man. Indeed.
How's the family?
They're doing very well.
Okay. Cool.
We've been meeting.
What's that?
Go ahead.
What'd you say? Now, I was gonna say we got another family man on the line. You have 2 youths, right? Is it 2 or 3?
Yeah, 2.
2, right? Okay, cool. So
yeah.
I know you got some wisdom as a young married man to bring to the table for the family today, for all the men under you. How old are you now, brother?
I'm 29.
29. Okay, so for the 28s and under, what do you got for them?
Woo. When you make those decisions to have your youth, or I should say, before you make your decision to have a newborn or to have children, make certain that you are putting certain things in place, making certain provisions, making certain that you have established, certain income, levels to make sure that you can support your children, and not just, of course, working a job is that's something that we kind of, start off with. A lot of us do, at least, if you don't have someone, teaching you to start your own business. But, regardless of, of course, the most ideal way is starting your own business. But even if you're working a job, make certain that at least you have, enough income to provide for, a family, and you can, go ahead and start working towards, building your own business up. And when you have children, make certain that you have certain ground rules set up for your children before certain behavioral patterns start showing, so that you can already have, control over that situation, and make sure that you dictate, how you want your young warriors to grow and to
can we get
mature.
Example of that? Brother, can we get an example of a protocol a preventative protocol that you would put in place? Can we get an example? Because I that's a very, very good point. All of the points were good points, but that one in particular. So could you give us an example of something that maybe you had to put in place?
Sure, definitely. My oldest son, who is he's 6, he eats while he's talking. Drives me crazy. So, we started at first we started correcting it as it was going, hey, stop talking while you're eating, and repeatedly saying that in the current moment is not sufficient. We need a protocol, and we need a protocol to, as far as the proper way to eat, rather than always having to go to corrective matters in the present moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you started off teaching them how to eat. Okay, but I'm assuming that that's something that you instituted with the younger. Once you saw that it was a problem with the older.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's something that. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother. I'm listening. I'm still listening.
Well, I'm just saying that's more of a current problem. So I'm working on I'm working on creating forget the word that I was about to use, but I'm working on basically supplying a protocol to eating, and employing that into our ground rules that we have, like, written on the wall.
Well, in general, as a family, and let me just let you all know, we're going into archives in about a minute and a half. In about 90 seconds, we'll be in archives, okay? So let me just, for anyone who's listening online, you're going to get cut off in about a minute and a half, all right? But let me ask this question.
Sure.
As in general, as a family, do you, like, when you, I'm just going to say that, I don't know if you have a dinner table, but do you sit around a dinner table and talk and discuss things?
We do not. They have a table. The children have a table,
okay.
But we don't have a dinner table as of yet.
Okay.
We definitely look to have one, but yeah, at this moment, the way things are set up.
If you got a floor, you're good enough. You can sit on the floor and eat. That I'm a fan of sitting on the floor as a family. We got more space anyway. But but in general, when the children see you and your wife eat, do you sit and talk and eat together?
Typically, yes, and that is something that I noticed as well, that we have to set that proper example for him as well.
Right. The thing is, in many cultures, indigenous cultures, talking while eating is a huge no-no. And what I mean by that, not just talking with food in your mouth in particular, but when you're eating dinner, you're supposed to do it in silence. Or eating any meal together, it's supposed to be absolute silence while you're eating. One, because you're supposed to be understanding the message that the food is giving you while you're eating, but you also don't want to imbue the food with any of the toxic conversation that you may put over it. So in many cultures, you especially find that in Asian cultures, they're dead silent while they're having the meal. I know it's difficult for us a lot of times because we're not used to being around people and being quiet. But, it really establishes a sense of order. Like if you could sit around your family and you still feel the warmness and togetherness and the closeness of your family, but no one's talking. Like that's, it brings you to like a next level of telepathic communication, and you're just sitting quietly and enjoying your food, or maybe you have some soft instrumental music playing, it's just dead silent. You're just listening to the meal. So, your son doing that is a clue and a sign for you. He's doing that to let you know that this is the nation that we come from. Because remember, we all come from different nations. You know what I mean? So, you might have come from the eastern region, northern region, southern region, whatever it is. The region I may be from, maybe we walk and eat. We don't sit down and eat. We walk and eat. The region you're from, maybe you sit down and you're dead quiet. So those young warriors are giving that energy like that. Just understand, because that's your ancestors saying, "Here, let me give you a little hint." That's a form of divination, and it's annoying you. So that's telling you something in your genetic memory. No, we don't do that. We don't do nothing like that. What are you doing? My little brother used to do something similar when we were children, because he was such a little brat. He used to suck his thumb, so he had kind of like, buck teeth a little bit. So when he ate, he used to whistle. He would go, whatever he ate.
He's beatboxing.
Yeah, exactly. And used to annoy the head. I'd be like, "Yo, stop, man, stop!" And he would, and looking back, I feel kind of bad because he would be like, "I'm trying," and I'd be like, "He'll whistle how you eat, man," That's something that really used to, but that noise. I don't want to hear no noise while we eating, man. Be quiet. I'm over here, I'm getting into into whatever it is we eating right now. You blowing it for me. And you know, it's funny because my pops is also a loud eater. My pops be sitting there smacking his and then he smacked my mother's behind. What? You know, just loud and vulgar at the table. But you know, when I was young, my pops was like a big brolic dude, so you know, you couldn't really say anything. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't gonna turn out right, man. You know what I mean? Because he had no problem with like pausing the meal, beating you, and then going back to eating. You know, like, hey, babe, heat this back up. You know, so you just had to deal with it with your pops. But with my little brother, I could get on him like, yo, man, stop making all that noise, man. I'm about to knock you out. You know, you get tough with him. You know, so sometimes and now I find that for me as an adult, I do enjoy silence doing meals. So, you know, sometimes it's the nation that we come from, you know, where certain things we have an immediate affinity to, and then other things is like, nah, I don't want that around me. I don't want that. I don't want you doing that. You know, and that's your children giving you an opportunity to it, like you said, establish those protocols, man. So that was great. I would suggest you try that, man. Even if it's just one night, you know. And for the children, it's going to be a game because they're not going to be quiet. They're going to be talking. But you know, try to, you know, you know. He looking at me. Well, stop looking at him. I'm not. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you have your empress, you know, put together a nice meal to eat on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And where you can all come out of one big bowl and just have your bowls. Do it silently. You know what I mean? Make it like a small meal, maybe breakfast or something short, so you're not sitting there for an hour in silence. You know what I mean? But something you might eat in like 5 minutes, and then you know start getting them accustomed to that feeling. You know, that would be very valuable. One of the things I used to always do with my youth to make work for you too is, especially with the girls, because girls they like to talk a lot, you know, and especially with me because I'm the anything you want to come talk to me about, come over here and talk. It's okay. So we would always we would have silent time and then we'd have sharing time. So one of the things we always did every dawning was meditation. And of course the boys would be quick. Like, all right, what did you see when you met? I saw a lion and I was fighting a lion. All right, go outside and play. But the girls would be like, Baba, I saw me and I was in a dress. The dress was blue. It was a blue dress. And then I came down on the dress and then there was and you got to sit there and listen to this long thing. But, you know, sometimes that would help as well. You know, like we're going to have silent eating. And then when we're done, you're going to tell me what the food told you. You know, you turn it into a exercise like that, you know. You'll end up raising some master farmers like that, because they might be like, the food didn't tell me nothing. All right, well, we gave you the wrong food. Maybe the food was dead. We thought it was live. We thought the quinoa, we didn't cook it. We thought it was live, but maybe it was actually dead quinoa. All right, let's try something else. Let's give you something else. You know, try this plum. What does the plum say to you? Oh, okay, here we go. Now you could turn it into a deep spiritual practice with them children, man. You know? Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. Sure. Thank you.
Give thanks. Yeah, give thanks, Barbara. That's another. Go ahead, brother. I'm listening.
One more thing I wanted to share. I want to say that was 2 days ago. I think it was 2 days ago, because it was Wednesday night when I had called in because you was cutting in and out. Mm-hmm. I have to go back and listen to that show. I had started teaching my son like how to do a proper push-up. You know.
Okay.
Because I remember my first time I really got into push-ups. Like I was like a teenager. So you know what I mean? It's like I see like the very necessity of like, you know, building up that warriorhood. I noticed that even like when I go and play basketball, if I don't do certain like my push-ups and pull-ups and, you know, like all of that different type of stuff, that my confidence, even though like my skill level might be, you know, I might have, you know, a certain skill level, but being able to utilize that skill, takes confidence, and my confidence is impacted if I'm not doing my warrior training. So,
well, there's two things to that. The push-ups, they amp you up. You find a lot of performers, even they'll do calisthenics before the show. One, makes them look a little bit more pumped, but, it pumps up your energy, get your blood circulating, you're breathing more, and things like that. But also don't forget you pushing 30 now, brother. So,
yeah.
You have to. It's going to give you more as you get older. Testosterone start dropping, and you got to pump yourself up to do certain things. So that's a part of getting older. When you was younger, you just ran out on the court like you know what I mean? That was like, you thinking about bills, and you thinking about the children, and then all right. So now you got to get into the zone. That's just a part of getting older. But Peace, how old is he now?
Say it again.
How old is he now? That the youth that you're teaching how to do a push-up.
6-year-old.
Oh, he's 6. Okay, cool. So at 6, you could even teach him the knuckle push-ups. Yeah, it's real easy because they're so flexible at that age. I used to teach one of my youth. Man, has these huge hands. Man, his hands look like concrete blocks, and his hands have always been like that since he was a little boy. And so I was like, we're going to start you out early because I already see, we got a slugger here. So I used to have him do he loved the knuckle push-ups, but have him do, at that age, he can even do tricks and stuff like that, man. Make it fun. But yeah, that's peace. There's nothing worse than when I see a teenage boy humping the ground because they don't know how to do push-ups, or got that way up.
I hate that.
Yeah, that's peace though. Yeah, man, you starting them off at a good age. And for anyone listening, from the moment your child knows their left foot or their left side from their right side, they're ready to start fighting training. So I'm just going to give that, if anyone who may be wondering about that, because I used to own 2 martial arts dojos, and a lot of times people would bring their children and see too young for martial arts, whatever. That was always my answer. If he knows his left from his right, or she knows her left from her right, because I had little girls too, they're ready to train now. So the moment they know that, you can start working with them once they have that perception of this side from that side. And a lot of times it does just start with being able to handle your own body. Once you got that boy doing some push-ups, then you graduate them up to some dips. You put some two chairs together, teach them how to do dips, and then what comes after that? The pull-up bar. Get them doing, which is easy because they stay on the monkey bars anyway at that age. But you teach them how to do a proper pull-up, and now he has control of his body weight. So now that just that idea of control is now psychologically implanted. Control yourself. If I control myself, and it's going to be harder for someone else to jump in and try to control. I hit boys on the line. Somebody wants. I thought someone did. I thought that sounded like some new noise. Is that you, brother? Tareen? Sounds like Tareen. But
no, I'm on mute, Chief. I'm on mute, man.
Y'all,
you can't make me the poster child for all the noise, man. That's wrong.
Yeah, you're right. Because Anwar is another one. Anwar is definitely. I think Dietrich is the poster child though for the back end noise though. I mean, I think Dietrich cake every time. Dietrich be putting in orders and. Go get 3 of them. Get 4 of them things. I don't know if I'm listening to The Wire or I don't know what kind of job he had. I'm at work. Yeah. Go get 4 of them things, go around the like, all right, okay, Dietrich. Incriminating yourself. He is the for the phone noise. Yeah,
man. But, I be trying. Every time I talk to you, though, I always put my phone on mute at every period, every question mark, every comma.
It always sounds like a robot. Hey man, we all have our idiosyncrasies. My quirk is, I'm very sensitive to sound vibration, man. It just kind of, because if I hear it, I got to pay attention to it. That's my that's one of my weaknesses. I'm like they say, music soothes the savage beast. Used to watch those cartoons, and Bugs Bunny would play the violin, and the beast would come floating in the air, listening to the music. I'm that beast. You play some music or something around me, I'm in it. I'm all in it. So those little clicks and pops, though they just sound like little noises to y'all, they sound like music to me. When I hear a car door slam or boop, 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 or something backing up, that's music to me, so I'm paying attention to it. So yeah, it throws off my groove, man. It messes up my rhythm. But yeah, okay, cool. So we're at the end of the segment. We're a little bit over the segment, but we're at the end. And I want to just give everyone encouragement, man, for this strong end coming up to push past your comfort zones. That's what we're talking about. And I definitely want to give thanks to all of the people who called in and gave us some guidance. You all got a lot this Friday. You got a lot, man. And you got information from people who are in the trenches of varying ages, of people who are in the trenches of raising children, building businesses, making mistakes, transitioning their parents into their new birth. Well, that's what it really is. It's a new birth. But transitioning their parents into their new birth, sisters who are out here and still working through. You see, sometimes it takes a while, man. You got 40 or 35-year-old childhood trauma and childhood issues. It takes a while. It's not a 5-minute thing as we would like it to be so often. But you stick around in this experience, we're going to fix you. You're going to get fixed. That's one thing I can say. I'm going to fix you. It may hurt. I may have to bend and twist you. I may have to heat you up first so I could bend you, or take that hammer and pound you into place, but you're going to get fixed. So I give thanks for everyone who called in, and I'm especially looking forward to this business understanding and formation and mission statement that we're going to get next Friday from Dietrich Tucker. Okay, Dietrich Tucker. You can find him on YouTube. Not YouTube, Facebook. He's also on Instagram as well. He's got a picture of him playing football. I think it's black uniform. And I think his username is Black Lion or something like that. So I'm giving that information out publicly because you know who to look for. Look for that mission statement. See, that's how we have to do it. We have to put it out there in a communal sense. So now there's a communal obligation. So next time, if he doesn't do it and he comes with some excuse like, yeah, well, you know what, I didn't do that because I went to this training and it wasn't really all it cracked up to be, and I decided I'm going to go, you done. You put a fork in him, he's done. We don't want to hear it. We want to hear about no more business idea. We might not even want to hear about nothing anymore. You're done. We don't want to hear it whatsoever. You see? So that's how we have to be, especially with our men. We got to go hard on our men. And when I say we, I'm talking about us men. The world goes hard on us, but they condemn us. They don't judge us. They condemn us. Before we even open our mouths, we're condemned. Oh, the black guy did it. Huh? I just got it. Black guy did it. So we got to build each other up, and we have to sharpen each other in a very strong way, man. And we have to reward each other. We have to celebrate one another, because if we don't, who will? If we don't reward and tell each other that we're doing better and we're doing well, reward from within first. And like I said in, I think 14 Keys. I don't know which book I said it. I said it in one of my books. Whomever you allow to judge or to reward or punish you is who you allow to define you, because we are defined externally by our rewards and punishments. Okay, so if you identify with a community and you say, you know what, I'm feeling this, I like this community, I like what you're talking about, I like what you're aiming and striving to do, and you say, and I'm going to allow you to let me know when I'm doing great. I'm going to allow you to let me know when I'm not living up to my proper potential and my proper privilege. I'm going to allow you to do that for me. then that means you're allowing yourself to be defined to some degree, not totally, but to some degree by that community. You see, I only allow myself to be rewarded or judged from within. You know, the little stuff, you know, when my children say, Baba, you're the best, or Baba, we love you, or Baba, you're so cool, or you're so smart, you know, or my lady say, you know, man, Baba, that was good. Oof, you almost threw your back out that time. Yeah. No, I'm playing. I'm joking. I'll say that for the late night edition. I'm just joking. Somewhat. But I'm just joking. But either way, you get the point that I'm saying, aside from the jokes. Allowing yourself to be rewarded or punished by those who you care about and those who care about you from within is very empowering, because then when the external condemnation comes, you almost laugh at it. That's why you can look into the faces of certain people with certain groups and say whatever you want. You notice they never argue with you. They just look at you or they laugh at you. You know, you go to a cop and say, man, why y'all doing this? Man, y'all ain't no good. Da, 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 da. They just look at you like, sir, step back. Sir, step behind the line. They don't care because they've already established their own community. Your words mean nothing. You see, so that's how we have to get. So that way when our children go to school and they get little gold stars and all that stuff like that, you know, they come home, throw that stuff in the garbage. Yeah, I got another gold. I got another A here, you know. All right, well, we're going to play, you know, basketball with that. Let's see. If you get into the basket, I'll give you an extra mango for dessert. You know, that's what it means, because my parent has already told me how genius I am. I told my children how genius and how gorgeous they were before anybody else did. And I still do. And when they do ASS backward stuff, I'm the first one to tell them. That didn't make any sense. That was just stupid. Why would you do that? We don't do stuff like that. And I always use that type of terminology. We don't do that. You're an Anu. You're an Asan Anu. What are you doing? We don't do that. You had a fight in the street over what? Over what? We don't do that. You bugging. You acting like a savage. We don't do that. You see? So the rewards and the punishments come aside, and then what they always say, I know, Baba. Even if it's, I know, Baba, but you know. That's all I need. You're going to make your mistakes, but just have your standard. All right. So we're going to close out. Again, everyone, enjoy your day today. And tomorrow on the Sabbath, you know, rest up. And I'll be back Sunday at 11 a.m. for Chief Speaks, and we're going to be dealing with the equinox. I think this month is going to be a good month. I've never spoken about well, I have in a YouTube video, but on enlightenment and transformation specifically, I've never spoken about the vernal or spring equinox in detail. So I think you're going to enjoy this month. All right? So until such time, this is Chief Yuya. Travel safe, be well, and give to someone. Be giving, be caring, and be lovely. All right.